Well, hello, fellow adventurers, and welcome to Lucinda's Adventures. I'm going to set the ambiance today first with this awesome candle that my friend Amy bought for me. It smells amazing. I only need to light one wick, and then I'm going to go ahead and move it off to the side and stir up some amazing, awesome sweet harvest pumpkin tea, you guys, from Celestial Seasonings, and then some native lotion and sugar cookie. I wish there was such a thing as smell-o-vision so you guys could smell all of these great things. And then I wanted to put on some rings that make me think of autumn. I have a ring made out of a spoon with sunflowers and then a mushroom ring. All right, you guys, so this bullet journal is a traveler's notebook cover that I made. I took a Mead calendar folio and covered it with some duct tape. And then this bullet journal is one that I started in 2021, stopped using and switched to smaller sizes, and then picked back up in 2025. It is a Hobonichi plain or graph notebook, and I absolutely love it. So I wanted to start off the title page with a circle. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for a circle for some reason as the center part of the design. And then I'm going to start decorating that with some gouache, which I haven't used in a really long time. And it is not the color that I'm using right here that I intended to start with, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of layers and different colors on this. And you guys, this Hobonichi Tomoe river paper takes watercolor and gouache so well. I'm just drying the layer with a blow dryer first and then adding a darker color just to warm it up so that it has more of kind of a darker autumn feel to it. I'm not spreading that one out smoothly. I'm kind of wanting it to have a textured look a little bit. And then I'm taking some stamps to stamp out the letters for November. That first stamp there with the N on the right inside the circle was a mistake. I'm going to cover it up, and then I'm going to cut each one of these letters out individually. And I like that they kind of have a little bit different design from the stamp around the border. I like that. I think it looks really nice and kind of vintagey. And then I wanted to write across the top and then around the bottom the words that say give thanks and be grateful. But they were a little too pale for me, so I took a darker brown pen and just went back over it, and I think that looks a lot better. So I wanted to do some fall leaves, and in September I actually drew a bunch of them, but I decided to do something different this time. I have a lot of craft paper that I haven't used a lot of, and so I decided to just use some of that and cut out each of these different leaves on this printed paper and use them individually. And they are so pretty. I know they're the same leaves that were on the sheet, but they just look better to me for some reason when they're cut out. So I'm going to use the glue stick and just take my time and position them around the circle, but not covering up the words, give thanks and be grateful. And so it just took a little bit to do that. But, you know, good things take time, right? And I think it looks good that they kind of are mirrored in a way here around the circle, but I wanted to add a little bit more kind of at the bottom and at the top also. So I decided on these two leaves, and I have a few left over that I will use on other pages. But I also wanted to add some other things that make me think of autumn and also Thanksgiving. In the US, we celebrate that every November. So I decided to add some different food that kind of made me think about, even though there's not like traditional food, there's usually sweets, you know, muffins, breads, things like that. So I put those around there. Then I went online and printed this calendar. I just didn't want to create something from scratch this time, but it was a little too tall at the top, so I cut the extra off, and it had a little section kind of for goals at the bottom, but I didn't need that and wouldn't have fit anyway. So I took the glue stick and just kind of did a pretty good job of making sure I had enough glue on there, and really took my time to make sure everything is smooth on here, because the Tomoe river paper is very, very thin and it can tear easily, which we'll notice a little bit later. So the holidays for November, Veterans Day and Thanksgiving, were kind of pale on the page, so I just took a yellow marker brush pen and covered over that. And instead of doing a legend this time like I typically do, I decided to just write the recurring things for my calendar on top of the letters for the day of the week. And that was really simpler. As long as I pay attention to that, I think I'll remember those recurring things and not schedule things that I can't do because I have something else that I always have to take care of. But we'll see how that turns out. You just never know. So a couple of the extra leaves, or actually I think all of the rest of the leaves, I used here on this page. And then since I don't have a legend in this section like I normally do, I decided to just write notes and kind of do a little, outline there. It was still a little too pale for me. I'm kind of on this bend or trend for some reason in this video that things look too light and I want to darken them up. So I did do that. So now we're moving on to the next spread, and this is the spread where I write down a few categories of things that I want to do for the month. And again, I usually doodle these kinds of things, but I decided to use this paper, so I cut these out and I'm going to glue them on either end and try to write in between them to do this month. But I wasn't used to there being something taking up that space. I don't know where my mind was, but I kind of wrote too big to fit this month on the other side. So I decided to go ahead and do that underneath. It was not looking good to me. I was not happy with the spread, and I kept trying to do different things to make it look a little better. So I had these scraps from a notepad that I got from Dollar Tree forever ago, and I cut out a couple of pieces of pumpkin or sweet potato pie, depending on what part of the country you're from. I'm from Oklahoma, and my mom's from Louisiana, and my dad's parents are from Louisiana, and so we always did sweet potato pie, but so you can call it whichever one you want. And so it started to look a little better, maybe, but then I thought it started to look like there was just too much on this page, and I tried to make it look a little better, add a little black there. Of course, I needed my lines for my different columns. Then I decided to add a little bit of black over to do this month. It still wasn't doing it for me, so I decided to add some color all around the words. Add a little bit of darker orange, and it does look a little better in my mind, a little warmer anyway, but it is what it is. And I just added some black lines above it and underneath it. So moving on from that spread. So this is my gratitude spread, and I decided to call it Give Thanks this month. Going back to that gouache, I just love it on this paper, you guys. Oh my goodness. And I didn't make it all smooth. I wanted it to look textured on here as well. So I'm using the blow dryer, and I think it looks pretty good. It looks more textured to me than it did on the cover page, doing it this way for some reason. And so I'm writing Give Thanks instead of gratitude because it's just kind of the theme like I had on the front page. And then I decided to take out some of my stickers that I usually use when I do ASMR Journal With Me videos to fill in some more color. And I really like that sticker. It's kind of a big sticker and it looks good on that section. And then of course I wrote 1 through 30 for each day to have something to give thanks for. And then this spread, write about it. I never decorate this. This is just for me to write out my feelings, get my emotions out on paper. And now we are going to the weekly spread, and I'm just kind of winging it, just getting some more color that I haven't used yet on this pad. And then I decided to blow dry it and let the paint kind of flow and let it just kind of move around the page a little bit and just see what happens. It's nice to experiment sometimes. And then I wanted it to blow over a little more on this side with the green, so I kind of tilted up the pages, and it has a nice little interesting pattern there. So now I'm just writing the days of the week on top of that on the yellow or mustard part. And I think it looks kind of cool. It looks pretty interesting. But I wanted to add some little accents there. Again, thinking about the Thanksgiving season and adding some desserts and sweet drinks, donuts here on the last one. And I think it looks pretty fun. Now, there were a couple of pages that I didn't think about drying. That paint spilled over and went over to some other pages, and I needed to have gone through and dabbed that paint. Sorry, you guys, a plane is flying over. And so I put some stickers to make up for those spots. And then here we are. Here is the completed setup, you guys. I'm really loving this title page. And this page I really like as well. I am really happy with it. I think it all looks so warm and cozy, which is kind of what I was going for. I don't love this spread, but it's not the worst. You know, it'll work. It's functional. I love that give thanks. It looks so warm, you guys. And while you're continuing to look, you're going to see I got to fix a few little places that tore that I didn't notice before. And I'm going to put the calendar days on the next page. I'm going to go ahead and thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and comment and share. It really helps my channel a lot, and it tells that YouTube algorithm to recommend my videos. You guys, please comment. I could really use some comments. And take care of your soul, your spirit, seeking first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And please take care of your bodies, you guys. We only have one. You guys continue to pray for me, and I'll continue to pray for you. And I'm going to put across the screen all of my channel members. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. And if you're interested, just click the link in the description or on my channel homepage. You guys continue to pray for me, and I'll continue to pray for you. And until next time, everyone, happy adventures.